So God bless to every single one of you. Today is April 12th. Channel out the southern border. All right. Big breaking news is coming out. The president of the US just put out an urgent message. All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now at the southern border. And on his first day, January 20th, he declared a national emergency. And so he also put out a 90-day um, an urgent report after 90 days. He expects a very important update from the southern border. So give me a second here, guys. Give me a second. I want to read this title really quick here. So President Donald Trump authorizes U.S. military to take control of land on southern border. Now, I did talk about this in my other channel, but I want to come live and I want to share with you many updates about this breaking news here. Now, a lot of people have been talking about martial law. A lot of people have been talking about that President Donald Trump might invoke the Insurrection Act. So I want to read this part really quick here. President Donald Trump is authorizing the U.S. military to take jurisdiction over federal lands along the southern border to help enforce his immigration agenda. Now, Donald Trump issued a memorandum to the Secretary of Defense, Interior, Agricultural, and Homeland Security late Friday titled Military Mission. Once again, military mission for sealing the southern border of the U.S. Now, the order directs the Secretary to facilitate the transfer of jurisdiction over federal land along the border so military activity along the border can occur on a military installation under the jurisdiction of the Department of Defense. The land will be designated as national defense areas. Now, I did post a video that America is under attack, um, and you still have those cartels out there, which Donald has labeled them terrorists. All right, so he is also planning. Well, again, he talked about military strike using drones, and he's thinking about using military drones to target the cartels. Now, I want to read this part really quick here, guys. According to a release from U.S. Northern Command, Northcom, you have another warship, a USS Stockdale, will join two other warships of the class USS Spruance and USS Gravely to aid the southern border operation. So there's going to be multiple warships out there. There's going to be multiple warships in the Gulf of America. Now, someone left a comment. I want to read this comment here. Someone said it's weird. This is usually a Coast Guard mission. So you have warships out there supposedly to stop the flow of the drugs coming to Florida, right? So the Coast Guard, their job is to patrol the, the Gulf of America because you got all these gangs bringing in their drugs to Florida. But now it seems like multiple warships are heading towards the Gulf of America, and they're gonna stop the flow of drugs coming into our country. But again, this person's absolutely right. It's weird. This is usually a Coast Guard mission. Something smells funny about this. So once again, U.S. Northcom has announced that there will be a third warship All right, and it seems like this warship was used to strike Yemen, the Houthis. All right, so it's going to be out in the Gulf of America. All right, so there's going to be multiple warships out there. All right, so there's going to be multiple warships. Uh, is there a possibility that we could see a massive operation out there in the southern border? Well, again, a lot of people are talking about martial law. A lot of people are definitely talking about martial law. People believe that around April 20th, again, this is just, rumors going around. Donald will activate martial law and invoke the Insurrection Act. All right, so this is just rumors. All right, so again, this is just rumors. All right, but when it comes to martial law, all right, let me just read this part again. So, according to a release from U.S. Northern Command, Northcom, the third destroyer, the USS Stockdale, will join two other warships of the class, the USS Spruance and the USS Gravely, to aid the southern border operation. The Stockdale left Naval Base Santiago earlier today. Now, she will work with U.S. Coast Guard, law enforcement detachments on drug interdiction. Now, the Homeland Security and humanitarian efforts in Northcom AOR. So, you're going to have warships out there to help the Coast Guard to stop the flow of drugs pouring into our country. I don't know, guys. I think it's a lot more than that. I don't think it's to help the Coast Guard. I think there's a possibility there's going to be some military operation going on. So you have multiple warships out there, and it's not to stop these small little, again, you have these drugs dealers. They make small little submarines, and sometimes it heads towards Florida and it unloads the drugs to Miami or whatever part of Florida. So you have some of these small little maze submarines that is being stopped by the Coast Guard, but it seems like the Coast Guard need help. So they are deploying all these warships, which I believe is not for those small little smuggling stuff. I believe this is for big operation. So once again, give me a second. The Stockdale left Naval Base San Diego earlier today, and she will work with U.S. Coast Guard law enforcement detachment on drug interdiction, homeland security, and humanitarian efforts in the Northcom AOR. Stockdale was deployed to the Central Command last year and shut down the Houthi one-way attack unmanned aerial vehicles, an anti-ship cruise missile, in a number of engagements. All right, so you got these warship that's going to be out there in the Gulf of America, and Donald has deployed U.S. soldiers to Panama, to the Panama Canal. All right, so the Panama Canal, you have all these U.S. soldiers. That was announced yesterday. Today, there's going to be another warship heading towards the Gulf of America, and Donald just announced he authorizes U.S. military to take control of land on the southern border. Something is going on here, guys. I mean, again, the numbers of these migrants crossing our border has dropped. The numbers are down. There's not many migrants crossing the border. You don't hear migrants caravan, a big massive group of people heading towards the US border. You don't hear that no more. The numbers has completely gone down, and Donald has done an amazing job. In 3 months, he sealed the border. He don't need to be sending warships. He don't need to be sending all these military armored vehicles unless there is a military operation that's underway, which I believe Trump is about to give the green light or something. There's going to be some military strike. I believe so. And I believe it's going to happen pretty soon. I believe it's going to happen pretty soon. All right, so you got these the cartels. They still bringing in drugs. They bringing in a whole bunch of stuff. They're bringing in the stuff. All right, so their operation is still going on. It doesn't matter if Donald sealed the border. It doesn't matter if you have all that. Underground tunnels is all across the border. All right, they still bringing their stuff in. They still bringing their stuff, and they still making millions of dollars selling those things here in our country. So I do believe Donald is going to give the green light. There's going to be some military action. Hey, Mike Baseman, how you doing? God bless you, brother. We need our SEAL team and Delta team and Rangers to go into Mexico to take care of the cartel. I believe that's what's going to happen. Now, the president of Mexico, Claudia, she sent a message to Donald. She said, "You better not try anything. You better not try. You better not strike my country with your missiles or drones." She gave a warning to Donald. All right, she warned Donald not to gave Mexico chance after chance after chance to stop their gangs from bringing in drugs and stuff like that. They refused. They allowed the gangs out there to bring in the drugs, and Donald came in and said, "Enough is enough. Enough is enough. It ends here." All right, so give me a second, guys. Let me just read this article really quick. So Donald authorizes U.S. military to take control of land on the southern border. All right, so once again, Donald is authorizing the U.S. military to take jurisdiction over federal lands along the southern border to help enforce his immigration agenda. Again, immigration agenda. He, he don't need that. He don't. He's done amazing. He stopped the flow of these people trying to come in. Donald issued a memorandum to the Secretary of Defense, Interior Agricultural, and Homeland Security late Friday, titled Military Mission for Sealing the Southern Border of the U.S. and Repelling Invasions. The order directs the Secretary to facilitate the transfer of jurisdiction over federal land along the border, so military activity along the border can occur on a military installation under the jurisdiction of the Department of Defense. The lands will be designated as national defense areas. Now, the order names the Roosevelt Reservation a strip of land along the U.S. border with Mexico in California, Arizona, and New Mexico as one of the federal lands slated for military control. The Roosevelt Reservation, guys, is an easement roughly 60 feet wide, or the distance from home plate to the pitcher's mound, said Adam, Director of Defense Oversight for the Washington office. The consequences of DOD, Department of Defense, taking control of federal land at the border aren't immediately clear, he said, but it could result in more severe criminal charges for migrants who cross the border unlawfully. Migrants who cross the border on land under the department jurisdiction will have trespassed on a military installation. They could be subjected to charges beyond entry without inspection. Okay, give me a second here, guys. I want to pull up another news article here. All right, so yeah, I can't find it. Can't find it. It was a CBS News article, and if you guys want to check it out, I did post a video. It's over in my other channel, and it's from CBS News. It was a really good news article. Give me a second here. Okay, so I want to read this one really quick. So, President Donald Trump gives military control of borderlands with new repelling invasion order. Donald Trump has authorized sweeping military jurisdiction over federal lands along the southern border, declaring the region under attack. Under attack. In a new April 11th national security memo, the directive grants defense officials power to build barriers and deploy surveillance on public lands, including the Roosevelt, while designating the areas as national defense areas under military control. The Pentagon now has direct authority to repel the invasion following Donald Trump's January national emergency declaration at the border. All right. So once again, Donald Trump has authorized sweeping military jurisdiction over federal lands along the southern border, declaring the region under attack. Mm. As we get closer and closer to April 20th, that's when a lot of people are talking about martial law. Yeah. I want to bring this one up really quick, and I'm gonna read some of your comments. I will read the comments. Okay, so we do have a little updates on this story. President Donald Trump idea to use drone strike in Mexico can make the cartel violence even worse. Wow. This is coming out today. This news is coming out today. You have MSNBC is putting out this news. Donald Trump idea to use drones strike in Mexico could make the cartel violence worse. In other words, the cartel strike back. Um, the drone strike, however, give me a second here, won't fix a problem that doesn't have any easy solution. Uh, I don't know about that. I mean, you're talking about American military, the best military in the world, going against the cartel. It would definitely fix the problem. It would definitely fix the problem. Now, um, there's a little issue that you know how we have sleeper cells. We have all them sleepers across America. We could have those cartels waking up here in America because a lot of them are within our country. It says here about a year and a half after he was fired by President Donald, former Defense Secretary Mark. Give me a second. Is this the news article? Okay, I'm, again, I'm sorry, guys. I lost the news article. For some reason, I lost it. Um, so Mexico is warning President Donald Trump potential U.S. drone strikes on the cartels in his country following an NBC report that Trump administration is considering lethal action against the gangs as part of an effort to combat the drug trafficking along the border. The president of Mexico, Claudia, has been vowing to crack down on the gangs. she's responded to the potential of the gang drone strikes, saying Mexico is um, not going to allow drone strikes and would reject any unilateral U.S. military actions under any circumstances, warning that such measures will not resolve anything. So this is the president of Mexico. She's basically telling Donald, you better not strike my country. You better not fire those drones. You better not fire any missiles. Despite a terrorist designation by the federal government, transnational criminal organizations are still attempting to move large quantities of narcotics into the U.S. See, that's the problem. You could seal the border. You could stop the migrants from coming in, but the drugs are still coming in. That's the problem here. All these drugs are coming in, and that's what Donald is really fed up. These drugs that it's pouring into our country and literally poisoning many people. Attorney General Pam says she believes prosecuting individuals involved will be able to slow down the flow. Still talks about the U.S. using drones to strike Mexico, to strike the cartels in Mexico, have been swirling. A top Pentagon official said this week that special operation forces do not have the authority to launch drone strikes at the gang in Mexico, despite the federal terrorist designation. It does, however, help unlock the doors for a broader gov approach to the drug problem. Here's the thing, guys, is that Mexico make things so hard for America. This is your country. You should take care of your business. I mean, you have military. You have the military. Let the military take care of business. The problem here, guys, is that these people also get paid. It's not the gangs only. These people get paid a lot of money. They get paid, and they got money in their back pocket. You have congressional lawmakers sent a letter to Donald officials requesting a plan on how to keep U.S. personnel at the border safe should there be drone strikes. Now, Donald has until next week to respond. Boom! April 20th. All right, so I just gave you guys some very important information at the very beginning that Donald is giving the military the control. I just received my. I'm sorry, guys. It said that I'm live right now. I just received my notification. No lie. I just received it on this phone. I just received my notification. This is the reason why a lot of people not receiving notifications. Unbelievable. So Donald is giving the military control of public land in the southern border. They deploy another warship in the Gulf of America. And yeah, like I say, guys, there's going to be some stuff that's going to happen pretty soon. Just keep your eyes on April 20th. All right, so Republican, you have Representative Juan says they want to make sure the federal gov is making moves in collaboration with Mexico. All right, so this person says he's confident Mexico will step up and help combat the cartels, but emphasize that the U.S. needs to use every tool available if its service members and employees are at risk. So I guess Mexico is kind of doing something about it. Mexico is, I don't know, stepping up. But I don't see it. I don't see Mexico stepping up. I don't see Mexico doing anything. I don't see them absolutely doing nothing. I mean, they possibly doing little small movements, but yeah, these gangs are still powerful, and they still bring in their stuff. So again, I just don't see Mexico stepping up and doing things. Again, I don't see it. All right, guys, for those of you that tuned in, once again, according to a release from the US Northern Command, all right, they put out a very important news. There's a third US destroyer, another ship that would join two other ships in the Gulf of America. All right, and a lot of people are kind of confused, saying, "Why are there warships out there? We have the Coast Guards. Let them do their job. They the one who stopped the drugs and all that. Let the Coast Guard do the job." So a lot of people are very concerned. They think something big is going to come pretty soon with three warships out there in the Gulf of America. Someone said, "Love it." Another person said, "Wonder when the last time US Navy warship have been sent to patrol the Gulf." I mean, when was the last time America sent not one, not two, but three US warship out there in the Gulf of America? When was the last time that happened? All right, so again, if you don't see what's really going on here, guys, I mean, again, I just don't know what to tell you. You know, I mean, I do believe something is coming. Someone said, "Time to invade Cuba." Nah, no, 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 no. Nah. These warship is not going to invade Cuba. These warship is pointed right straight towards Mexico. Um, USS Gravely is tired of shooting down the Houthi missiles. By the way, one of these warship, they were out there in Yemen. They were out there in Yemen, and they were really firing towards the Houthi. Someone said this. It's weird because this is usually a Coast Guard mission. Something smells funny about this. All right. So far, guys, this is all the news here. Let me just read some of y'all, some of the comments. And I have another video after this one. I have a late night video. It's going to be really good, guys. Something really bad went down in Gaza. Is is not good. There's a picture. I mean, it's literally, they call it hell on earth. It's so bad. They're telling everyone, you got to get out. You got to leave. It's so terrible. All right, so that's going to be my next video. Guys, do me a favor, please share the video and make sure you subscribe to my other channel. Thank you so much. I just got home from work. It's a late night work. I came home like around 10, and I did post a video over on my other channel if you guys want to check it out. Give me a second here, guys. I'm gonna read some of y'all comments, and again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, tomorrow, actually it's today, Iran and US will discuss the nuclear deal. All right, so that's another story too. Iran and the US, the Holy Land put out their message. They said that Donald seems like he's not going to strike Iran. He's not. And Donald is kind of trying to talk things out. Um, so Benjamin, again, the prime minister in the Holy Land, they want to strike Persia. They want to strike Persia. They're not about, dialogue or, peace and this and that. They want to strike Persia. But Donald wants to negotiate. The Holy Land said, Donald backs away. Holy Land like. That's what they said. Give me a second here. Michael Gale, God bless you, brother. The Watchman, Renee. Man, it's been a while. I haven't been doing live stream, but it was a good one, especially the last part. Which one is that? Is that my video? I'm sorry, is that my video? Probably someone else. Oh, okay. Which one is this? The news binder? They make the news. I have to check that one out. Okay, give me a second here, guys. I'm trying to read some of your comments. And thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Like I said, I got another video coming up. Um, is Trump about to give green light to strike the cartel? Um, it seems like it's getting to that. It seems like it's getting there. It seems like there's a possibility Trump might strike. He might. He might. Now, everybody's talking about April 20th because, again, Donald declared national emergency on his first day on January 20th. He signed the executive order and he gave 90 days to Department of Homeland Security and other agency. You got 90 days. Give me the report. You guys let me know how things are going out there in the southern border. So 90 days, that's January 20th all the way to April 20th. So we like what, 9 days away. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Hopefully we don't see no pina colada stuff going on. Not pina colada, pinata stuff. So, but yeah, it seems like there's a possibility. Who knows? I think it might happen. I think it might happen. We just need to pray for the soldiers out there. There's a lot of soldiers. I mean, the Panama Canal, they just deployed U.S. soldiers. I don't know how many soldiers were sent there, but Donald did deploy soldiers out there in Panama Canal, and that's close to Mexico. So Mexico's up here, Panama Canal is down here, and you have sleeping giant soldiers in that region. You have sleeping again. U.S. soldiers is down here, and then Mexico is up here, and then you got Gulf of America here with the warships, and then you got the other side. I think they have, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a warship in the other side too. So it's like Mexico is surrounded by U.S. military. All right, give me a second here. You in the doghouse? Someone said. No, I'm not in the doghouse. I decided to come out here to give you guys a live stream. Then I'm gonna go inside the house. I'm thinking about, just miss doing live stream and communicating with you guys. But no, I'm not in a doghouse. Absolutely not. Actually, the wife is like, stop making videos. Let's watch a movie. um, I sent you some support. PayPal. Who's that? Going fishing? Hey, thank you so much for that. Guys, there's so many stuff on this live stream. I haven't done live stream for so long. I could actually go live and I could invite someone. And so that's awesome. I'm thinking about doing that, going live and just bringing someone into the live stream, someone who's military expert or someone that's a prepper or someone that I'm thinking about doing that. I'm think I'm thinking about doing that. And Michael Gal, I'm thinking about bringing you to the live stream, Michael Gal. Mike, I'm thinking about doing that, man. Just inviting someone to the live stream. I was thinking about like someone who's military experienced that could give us some kind of idea, updates of what's really going on in our country. I'm reading some of your comments really quick here. Someone said, I don't think they could do anything, but I remember the last time Mexico had backup. They had a whole bunch of tanks that belonged to Russia. They had tanks, and these tanks had red stars, which is the Russian tanks or Chinese tanks. And who was the one that exposed it? It's a YouTuber, Alec Blackman, something like that. He's a YouTuber, Alex Blackman. He's the one that exposed it, and he was out there in Mexico when it was a migrant caravan, and he's like, there's a whole bunch of Russian tanks in Mexico. Either way, they can't do nothing because we got the border sealed. All them tanks is not gonna get through. But yeah, Mexico, they don't have a strong military. They don't. If Mexico has strong military, the cartels will not be around. So, um, but yeah, it's really bad out there in the southern border. Uh, Breitbart news articles, they talk a lot about the gangs out there, and people that live in Texas, people that live really close to Mexico border. A lot of them say they could hear like gunshots going on between the cartels and the Mexican military. That's some scary stuff there. I don't know how Americans could live so close to that region. That's really close. Um, hi, Lewis. Just got notification. What happened? For those of you that tuned in, I'm just talking about a little update. What's going on at the so giving some of the authority to the U.S. military um, take control of certain public lands that is considered under attack. Um, you do have like the cartel set up some of the booby traps. They set up some mines out there too. Give me a second. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to bring a little updates here because this information is coming out today, and this is uh, this is coming out today. So will President Trump invoke Insurrection Act or declare martial law? Here's what we know about the rumors. Again, rumors. A report is due by April 20th. Now that is not a rumor. That is not a rumor. Donald expects report by April 20th about the southern border. A report is due by April 20th about condition on the border, along with recommendation on additional actions, including whether to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807. Now remember, Donald declared national emergency and he gave 90 days to the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and I guess the CIA and all them other agencies. I want a report on my desk on April the 20th. If things are looking pretty bad, I'm giving the green light, basically, to the military. So rumors are flying that President Donald Trump will declare martial law on April 20th, which also happens to be Easter. Wow. Okay. Even the rumor checking website Snoops has weighed in on the rumors, which are tied to one of Trump's first executive orders issued on the day he was inaugurated on January 20th. On that day, Donald declared national emergency at the southern border of the U.S., saying America's sovereignty is under attack. Donald ordered the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of Homeland Security to submit a joint report within 90 days over condition at the southern border, along with their recommendation on additional actions that may be necessary to obtain complete operational control of the southern border. including whether to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807. Here's the thing.